y'all, I am all caught up on Love is Blind season 7. We gotta talk about it. So I've got my little handy dandy notebook right here because I had to take some notes. Guys, throw the whole season away. Throw the whole season away. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go episode by episode. I may combine episodes that there wasn't much to talk about in one or the other, but this one is just gonna be dedicated to episode 1. Right, so this is a spoiler review. You have been warned. If you don't want any spoilers, go watch it. Up to episode 9, I believe, is up. We're waiting on the rest of them. They will be up on the 16th of October. So keep that in mind. Okay, you ready? You ready? All my spoiler babies to the front. All right, perfect. So, guys, first of all, this takes place in Washington D.C. So I'm expecting everybody to have money. I'm expecting everybody to have money because DC is not a cheap place to live. And like, as we talk to the castmates, we find out that like they live, you know, in and around DC and their family are from other places. But this is Love is Blind in DC. So again, I'm expecting everybody to have money. And I love that the cast is like upper 20s and up. Okay, so I think the youngest is Hannah, who's 26, and then everybody else, you know, is up from there. We got a couple people in their late 20s. We got a couple people in their early to mid 30s. So right off the bat, as we're getting introduced to the characters, well, to the castmates, I'm like, okay, this is a good looking crop of people. I said, okay, I think it's Chelsea, perhaps, that said that she was casting, or that rumors were floating around that she was going to be casting for season 7. So she kind of ate just by, you know, the aesthetics alone. She kind of ate. I also think it's funny that they made sure that we saw that the cast ate. Okay, like they were cooking French toast. You know, you saw little mini Fiji waters. Like they were like, y'all, please. We were giving them the expensive water, okay? The expensive water with the Fiji water. Please stop saying that we are not feeding these people. Please stop saying that we are only giving them wine to drink. Please stop suing us for horrible conditions. It only took us 7 seasons to get here, but you know, you win some, you lose some. So, you know, everybody's getting introduced and they're saying some cute stuff about, you know, why they're here and things like that. Until we get to Hannah, who lets us know right off the bat that her job was in the way of her finding love, so she quit. Guys, you remember how I said in DC, I'm expecting you to have money? I'm assuming that she did, and that's why she was able to quit. But y'all, you know, we can't do that. We can, in this economy, we can't do that. We can't do that, okay? So if your job is stopping you from finding love, meditate on it, you know, before you take such a drastic step. Because quitting your job to find love, maybe not, babes. So she was already kind of a red flag when she said that. I said, okay, I'm gonna keep my eye on you, Hannah. And I'm glad, because she ends up doing some foolishness. But okay, so we see a couple of people. It's a very diverse cast, and I'm loving that. Episode 1, I was a little iffy because I was like, we're only seeing a couple of people and, you know, the beginning of their stories. Where's the rest of my girlies at? Because I would see, you know, all the different black women on the set and all the different like other women on, you know, in the couches and stuff, talking to people and stuff, and like their little name would pop up at the bottom of the screen. But I'm like, where they at? Where are their stories? We do see them later on in the season, so I was like, okay. But episode 1, I was like, okay, we're off to an interesting, not strong, not weak, we're on to an interesting start. Okay. So then we have the people. So like Ashley A, she's 31. I said that she was funny because she said that when you are a woman in your 30s looking for men, it's like we all on the clearance rack searching for the best. That had me dying. I was like, I mean, I already have my man, but I'm just saying, I feel that. you know. And then we have Tyler, 33. He likes to cook. Great chemistry with Ashley A. And this is a little like blurb side note. You know, stuff has come out on social media. This is just pertaining to what we see on the show, okay? I am one of those people who kind of missed the days when social media wasn't that big yet, and like we kind of followed the cast, so like everything was a surprise. Like the drama was a surprise, you know, everything was kind of like hidden as we saw episodes come out. So like I will not be talking about, you know, any controversy about these people that has come out on social media. I'm just going off of the show because I want to see some love stories, okay? I'm here for the drama. I'm never going to say no to drama, but I also want some wholesome content. And I feel like as we get wholesome content, stuff that comes out on social media that like negates that. So again, this is just for the show. Not too many spoilers in the comments until we get to later episodes and everybody, you know, has a chance to catch up. But yeah, so Tyler worked chemistry with Ashley A. We love a man who cooks. Nick D. Immediate red flag. Nick was an immediate red flag because of the way that he portrayed himself, okay? So, you know, he's flirty, sarcastic, and men like that to me are always going to be a red flag because they seem too friendly. So like if, you know, a hand is placed on their shoulder, Nick seems like the type, and we find out later he was, to let that hand sit there for way too long, let that girl get too close, think that she has a chance before he's like, nah babes, my girl watching, I can't have you doing all that to me. Like that to me, that's the energy that Nick gives. He just, no, he likes the attention too much, and absolutely not. Charming, but comes off a bit strong. When they kept calling him like a smooth operator, but to me he kind of reminded me of Clay. He was saying a bunch of nothing. He was saying a bunch of rehearsed lines. That's, to me, it wasn't charming or smooth because you were giving me the same thing in a different font. Like, you know, you would be saying all the right things, but it wasn't giving authentic. Also, I thought it was hilarious. He was gonna slide being a kicker and a punter into that conversation, okay? He was gonna let you know he was a jock. Yes, ma'am. He was a kicker, okay? Somebody could be like, the weather is blue, and he would be like, I know. My best games as a kicker were when the weather was nice. And at first, because, you know, my man watches football, and y'all, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, isn't a kicker and a punter the same thing? But I think I was getting confused because some teams, it will be the same person who is the kicker and the punter. But in other teams, it's two different people. So I was like, okay. You know, my limited football knowledge, because I be reading. When he's watching football, I'm reading. But anyway, back to Love is Blind. So I thought that was hilarious. You know, we didn't see much from Ashley or Katie. And then, you know, Hannah, going back to her, again, her and Nick have good chemistry, ? Because again, they're not really saying anything. It's very surface level. So is it really chemistry if they just can have a conversation? You can have a conversation with a stranger. That's not the hard part, you know? And I feel like we're in the 7th season and people are still not asking their partners the hard questions. I know we're only on episode 1, so I wasn't too hard on them, but I was just saying. Like Hannah was acting like she was locked in with this man from day 1 because he's so smooth, but it was surface level. So Leo, this is another one. He came across dry when we were first introduced to him, but I think it's because of the way he talks. Like he talks very monotone, very one level of speech pattern. Like it never goes like high or low until he got excited talking to, I believe it was either Brittany or Hannah that he started getting excited. And so like then you could see he was more engaged in the conversation. I was like, okay, you just need to bring him out of his shell. That's fair, you know, I'm not mad at that. But he was cracking me up because one of the first things out of his mouth was that he is so insecure about the reason that women want him, because he comes from a very wealthy background. He has money with a capital M, okay? Like, I was dying. I was trying to hold together because he kept saying, you know, I don't want a woman who wants me just for my wealth. But yet he brought it up everywhere. Everywhere. Just like Nick would slide in that he was a kicker and a punter into every conversation, Leo was right there with him. Oh, this macaroni and cheese is cold. Well, you know, because I'm wealthy, I could afford to heat mine up. Somebody could talk about how they were just going to the grocery store or something, and Leo would find a way to work his wealth in there. The fact that he's wealthy into that conversation. I was like, guys, please. But I did like that when Brittany and Leo were talking, Brittany was starting to get a little bit deep, but Leo was still giving me very surface level. So, I mean, they had good chemistry, but again, it's surface level. So, transitioning to Brittany. So, it's a weird square in episode 1. Brittany is talking to Leo, who is also talking to Hannah, who is also talking to Nick. Leo was interested in both Brittany and Hannah. I can't remember who else Nick was interested in, but if he had like Hannah, and I feel like it was somebody else there in the very, very beginning before he focused exclusively on Hannah. But I can't remember. I didn't write that part down, so I don't know. But Brittany was my favorite because she very much so knew who she was, and she knew what she wanted, and she was gonna get it. Like when she mentioned that she had been talking to the other guys, and they brought up like they were very strong on like the 50-50 thing, and Brittany was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I said, period, Brittany, because not everybody wants that. What's that sound where they're like, what if everybody doesn't want to live like this? And they were like, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants to live like this. Like, that's how I feel like them 50-50 people are. Because I don't want to live like that either. So I was right there with my girl. And then she said, you know, I want to be a trophy wife. You know? And I said, period. Period. Like, when she was talking to Leo, and of course his wealth inevitably got brought up, and Brittany was like, oh, well, that's perfect, because in my last relationship I was taken care of very well. And Leo was like, I don't know if I want to do the 100% thing. And she was like, that's fine. And it was given like, so you want to do, because he said, you know, he doesn't believe in like the 50-50 thing if he's making more, so he'd be okay with paying some but not all. And so it was given like, you know, do you want to pay 80-20, 90-10? And he was like, yeah. So she was like, perfect, y'all. Perfect. But it also felt like Brittany heard that he was meeting her criteria, and so she just started going along with what he was saying. Like, she was telling him how she had picked out, you know, Leo as a baby name, and Leo was like, I don't really know if I want somebody named after me. And she was like, yeah, you know, that's fine, I can change it. Like, period, Brittany, period. I do also like that she mentioned that she does like a beach cleanup. I thought that was really cool. But when we were first introduced to Garrett, you know, he was kind of getting on my nerves, because he was saying like, you know, he doesn't normally think about what he wants in a partner, so he doesn't really know. And I'm like, why are you coming on an experience like Love is Blind if you don't know what you want out of somebody? But then he mentioned how he likes to go on all these random trips and expeditions to these remote places, and I was like, oh, you're not seeing a soul in sight for 30 miles, let alone a woman. So of course you're not thinking about what you want in a partner. But it was kind of giving horror movie. Like, it was giving that friend who takes you to the cabin in the woods and then acts shocked and dumb and scared the whole movie, so y'all can't escape. Like, I was side-eyeing Garrett a little bit, because what are you talking about? Child. And then when he's talking to Taylor, why did he kind of remind me of, because he was shooting baskets like repeatedly as they were talking. And all I could think of was Raven when she was talking to, I think it was Bartiste, and she was doing all the yoga moves. I was like, guys, it's it's not giving engaged in the conversation. But he had great chemistry with Taylor, because I think they bonded over that they're both, you know, a little bit of a low-key nerd, high-key, because they have like nerdy type tattoos. Taylor played basketball. She did get a bit deep with the childhood stories. I did like that. I said, okay, we're seeing somebody at least asking some type of question. And like they mentioned kids, but like they didn't really go into, like they talked about childhoods, but they didn't really talk about like, you know, what they're looking for, you know, a partner, stuff like that. But again, it's only episode 1, so I'm like, you know, giving them grace. We didn't see Nina or Nick P. And then Tim, he talks about how he's got a problem being understood by the women he dates, and that's a turnoff for him because the mind, being invested in the mind, both for him and for her, like having intelligent conversations and stuff like that, is a big deal for him. And I was like, you know, okay. At first I was like, what do you mean? Then as he explained it, I said, you know, okay. Tim, I was kind of neutral on, because I was like, it could go with Tim, he could go either way. When he mentioned the lion tattoo, I was with Alex. I thought that was going to go a completely different way than it did. I said, okay, Tim, I see you. Also with Garrett, because he was getting frustrated with Taylor because Taylor did not want to talk about her ethnicity, because this is Love is Blind. This is season 7. Okay, we have all watched the show, whether you have watched season 1, season 4, season 6, whatever. You have seen some part of Love is Blind, especially since now social media is such a big thing. You have at least seen some clips. You at least know what it is. You know, you at least have a general idea of what the show is about. So why are you getting upset with Taylor because she does not want to tell you her ethnicity? Because she wants to be true to this process, okay? This is Love is Blind, not Love is Described. Stop playing with me. Then we get to Alex. She's big in astrology. Her and Tim did get the deepest, I think, out of everybody, because they talk about Alex's parents struggle with MS, and Tim suffered the loss of his 2 sisters, and how that kind of affected both like the life that they want to live, and almost definitely in Alex's case, maybe in Tim's, but definitely in Alex's case, the kind of partner that they want in a marriage. And I said, finally we're getting somebody who is getting to the nitty-gritty, because yes, childhoods and, you know, parents and all that kind of stuff is important, but you're not marrying your parents, you're marrying the person that you are not seeing. So you need to know what kind of partner that they want, okay? And quite honestly, I also like the fact that both of them came from healthy marriages. Like, yes, Alex's parents were divorced, but she is still able to see what a healthy relationship looks like. I appreciated that, because you need that. Quite honestly, you need that. When, as we get later into the episode, right, and Leo comes back, honestly, when he was talking about the loss of his family and how he is an only child, his behavior made a whole lot more sense, because looking back, he was giving only child. And if I just offended an only child out there, I'm sorry, but you know. And my people with siblings, you know, because the way he talked, you can like, he's not as socially aware, I feel like, as he would be if he had siblings. But I also kind of like that this experiment brought him together with all these other men, because they're giving him different perspectives and kind of giving him that sibling experience that he hasn't been able to have. Because when he talks, like, sometimes the way these men will look at him is giving it's giving very much sibling energy. Like, he'll say something and somebody will be like, no or like, you know, the people who are a little closer to him will check him on something that he said, or like question him about something that he said. And I feel like Leo needs that, because when you are, the fact that he had to take over his company that young, and so it put him in spaces of wealth probably with a lot of older people, and so he's probably used to a certain, like, talking about certain things, because you only talk about certain things in those spaces, and then coming to something like this where it is more diverse, it is a little bit more open, you know, he's slowly learning to navigate that. So I feel like even if things don't work out for Leo and Brittany/Leo and Hannah, he should still be able to grow and learn from this experience, because it's giving him a chance to kind of be around people who don't use their money to talk, if that makes sense. This is all speculation, of course, you know, all speculation on my part, but that's what I was thinking from the way he acted. When Leo was telling Hannah about that dream, guys, what was that? What was that? It was giving Kwame, when he was talking about how Chelsea was his second favorite pair of jeans. It was just cringe. It was cringe. It didn't make any sense, and he could have kept that to himself, quite honestly, because you've never seen this girl. So what are you talking about? She appeared in your dream, and right when you're about to see her, she disappeared because you don't know what she looks like. Quite honestly, ew. He could have kept that. He could have kept that. We meet Marissa. Marissa has connections with somebody. We don't know. But she's, you know, she's there in the background a lot. She's there on the couch giving other people advice, talking to other people. So I'm like, okay. So then, like I said, we're later into the episode. I need these people to be so for real. Like, I need these people to be looking in the mirrors and be so for real with themselves. You know what I mean? Especially since you're on a show like Love is Blind. Who are you performing for? Who are you putting on for? They can't see you. So when Nick, like, I think Nick is on a date with Hannah, and Hannah is saying how she can be the Taylor Swift to his Travis Kelce. And Nick says, yeah, but you know, I look better than Travis Kelce. But you know, I think I look better than Travis Kelce. Guys, I'm not saying that Nick is unattractive. I'm just saying, Travis Kelce, Nick, be so for real. And I hate when they do this. I only remember for sure it being in season 6. I can't remember if it was in previous seasons, but for sure season 6. But when people start doing this kind of stuff, you are setting expectations for your partner that you are not able to reach, because now they are forming a picture in their mind, because Travis Kelce is attractive, and we all know what Travis Kelce looks like. We all also know that Nick said he was a punter and a kicker. We know what most of the punters and the kickers, we know what they look like. So now you're kind of forming an idea of what Nick looks like based on the stuff that he keeps saying. You are setting your partner up for failure, and you are defeating the purpose of Love is Blind, because now they are falling more in like. Now they're getting more attracted to the idea that you are creating. Get off my screen. Get off my screen. Then we switch back to Ashley A and Tyler. I like that they talked about like horses and like bungee jumping before the wedding. All these kind of cool activities that you don't normally associate Black people with. I was feeling that. I was really feeling that, because as my girl Jean from Jean's Movie Chats, the channel on here on YouTube, she always talks about like the diversification of representation of Black people. Like, we are not a monolith, so it's always nice to kind of see people with different hobbies and stuff like that. In the 8. Also, I like the vulnerability from Tyler, but I can't remember what he was being vulnerable about. I just like that he was being vulnerable. I thought that was really, really cool to see. When Leo gets back from his date, I believe it's his date with Brittany, he gets back into like the men's quarters, you know, they're talking, they're chatting, whatever, shooting the breeze. And David mentions, I think David was the one also that was interested in Hannah. But anyway, so Leo was mentioning, he said something about Brittany, and David was like, well, you know, Brittany's gonna be expensive. And Leo was like, well, I have money. And that was the one time where Leo mentioned his wealth, and I said, period, because it's always the men who can't afford you that try to bring you down. You see how David was hating on Brittany for no reason? Did Brittany ever insult this man? Call him out his name? No, from what we can see on camera. So it's like, why are you hating? Why are you being a hater? Why are you being a hater? Brittany told everybody what she wanted up front. Why are you being a hater? You can't afford her, so move on. You don't want that kind of lifestyle, so move on. Why are you trying to bring her down and trying to take a dig at her, talking about well, you know she's going to be expensive? Because if we're keeping it above, everybody's expensive. There are just levels of expensive, and you could not afford hers. Leave my girl alone. Leave my girl alone. So that's when I said period. When Leo said, you know, well, I have money, that's not an issue. Period. Especially since Leo is expecting to continue living a certain type of lifestyle. So he can't have somebody who is used to being poor. And when I say poor, I mean like in the books, when the girl has been, you know, downtrodden all her life, and she's just used to struggling, getting out the mud, and she meets a wealthy man, and the first thing she says is, I don't want to spend your black card. What is that? Ew. I can't do that. I can't do that. No. I can't. Spending money. Oh, no, I can't. That's the broke I'm talking about. Like the stuff that when you're presented with an opportunity, you choose to act foolish instead. Yeah. And then, quite honestly, we get near the end when Hannah is going back and forth on whether she should cut Nick off or continue talking to this man. And I like that she is on the show for the simple fact that there are people out here who are having that same struggle. And now maybe they can relate to Hannah and get themselves out of there, okay? Get themselves away from that situation. Because when you listen to the way that Hannah talks about Nick, it's not good. It's not good. It's not. Like she's telling the other girls, like, the way he makes me feel is not good. I feel like he's expecting somebody other than me, and when he sees me, like, you know, if he sees me, he's gonna be disappointed. I feel like I would have to wear my makeup all the time. I feel like I wouldn't be able to be my full authentic self with this man. Which, if you are trying to get into a relationship with somebody, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. That's why the other girls were looking at her like, girl, end it with this man. End it with this man. Because it's not like they have a lot of time. It's not like they have a lot of time to be playing these reindeer games. So, and again, you're saying that Nick is such a smooth talker, so you know, that's why you're confused, because he's saying all the right things, but the way he makes you feel is not great. It's not what you want out of a partner. And she's saying that with her own mouth. So again, if somebody is making you feel like that, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. You need to get away. And so the episode ends with a cliffhanger, because she does end up ending it with Nick telling him that, you know, she just has a stronger connection with somebody else. And Nick says, well, I wish you all the best. I'll be that day. And then we cut the cameras. We get out of there. I don't know if I saw that coming. I'm proud of Hannah for doing that, but I don't know if I saw that coming. But I'm interested. We about to see how the rest of these episodes play out, because I feel like this is not the last time we're gonna see Nick. But that is all I have for you guys for today, for episode 1. It was a little long, so I appreciate you for sticking around. All 3 of you for sticking around to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in my next video.